Hello everyone, welcome back to Ocarina of Time Master Quest. My name is Dario, and yes, I am doing post-commentary once again. Okay, to be fair, in this part I do say more than what I said in the previous parts, where I actually would need post-commentary, because I wasn't saying anything at all. In this part, though, I do say a few, I do talk a lot, like a bit more, but it's like far and few in between. Like, there are points where I am talking and points where I stop, and to tell the truth, I was like talking to someone while filming this, and not that they minded, not like I was on a Skype call, but I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I just, this dungeon was so long, and I ended up like backtracking like a bit later, so I don't know. I just figured I'll fix it later, and I have to edit everything together anyway, so yeah, that's what ended up happening. And as I stated, like, I didn't feel like cutting in between so much, because there was points where I was talking, points where I wasn't talking, and I did want to fill the dead air with something, but it would have been hard to just, you know, start talking and say, oh, this part's talking, so I just, you know what, I'll just do everything again. And whatever I was talking about in the video, I'll just bring up. Like, for example, here, I did mention about Blue Fire and how it only really has use in like Blue Cavern and I think later in Ganon's Castle. And a part or two ago, I when I was in the Shadow Temple, I it was in fast motion, but I filmed myself going to the bazaar or whatever, and getting a few fairies. And I made mention about how they were selling Blue Fire there, and I was talking about how it's cool. It'd be kind of cool, like if they integrated more uses of Blue Fire in the game. I mean, not overdo it, but um, I don't know. It's just they could have done something a bit more with that. Like, and even this dungeon, they could have at least done something similar to like what's that place at an Iconic Canyon when you have to go underground? It's like underneath the Icona Valley or something, but you have to bring in like items from outside, like milk or bugs or magic beans, stuff like that. So I was thinking maybe they could have done something like that in this place, but I guess that they would have been ripping off themselves, which isn't a bad thing really. But yeah, what can you do? At least they did do something to this place, like change it up a bit. Uh, they did make it a bit harder because this place actually, like, when I think about it, like this place was kind of a breeze, a little bit. You just go from room to room picking up keys, and this one they kind of do mix and match things a tad bit. So, uh, excuse me, sorry. And this part, like, I don't remember this from the original. It might have been there. I mean, it's been so long. Um, I've only played the original Ocarina of Time and beat it like once, maybe no, twice actually. I have played a lot as a kid, as I stated, and um, what makes this so well. I'll continue that on in a second and make mention of the Iron Knuckle here real quick. Iron Knuckles are very fun to fight. Anyways, Iron Knuckles are very fun to fight because like with that, like with a lot of like enemies, like they have a pattern to them, and it's very easy to get off that pattern and get hit. So it's cool to like, it's just like a rhythm thing, you attack, jump back, you attack, jump back, and as long as you follow that rhythm, you'll be fine. And if you get off track, you have to get back on track by like baiting a swing, like I just did right there. So, but as I was saying about Ocarina of Time and what it means to me, like I used to live in this place called Fremont, and where we lived with these apartments, and they always had this nice view of the sunset, like towards the evening, like because like the whole place was like on a hill, and since we were like on the second floor and like everything was already going downwards. Like we had a really beautiful view of the sun setting beneath the trees, like far off into the distance, like every single day from the patio door, like you could see it. And the TV was in the front room, and the N64 was there, and so many memories of just sitting there playing games. Because outside of school, like there was the internet, but it was not as big as it used to be. There wasn't a Facebook or Twitter. You just had some forums, and you know, even when we did go on the internet, we would just look up stuff about video games, like glitches, or like Odyssey of Hyrule. That's one that's still up. That you can, they documented some Zelda glitches. Now it's all like you can go to so many places, but back then, like Zelda games, like particularly Ocarina of Time, like there was the quest to find the Triforce, and beta quests, like the beta elements in the game. And like I remember the day, this was about like maybe 2003. No, it might have been 2006 or so, actually. I can't quite remember, but I remember when the R-Wing was found in the game's code, and that was like a really kind of like a crazy, like, like, what, really? Like the R-Wing from Star Fox? Like, we later found out it was used for targeting, to test out the targeting of this game, but it was just crazy, but this, even to this day, this game still holds a lot of like not mystery to it, but like intrigue, I guess. Like and you gotta love games like that. I mean, and it's kind of sad too, because there's a lot of games out there that have a lot of things left to find in them. Like so many games, you can find things to still discover, but people don't tend to care about them. Like I grew up with plenty of N64 games, Toy Story 2, Castlevania, Kirby. Trying to look over real quick to look at them, but there's a lot of games that unfortunately never get the amount of effort that Ocarina of Time got to put in. And I mean, but that's just how things go. Like you can't expect everything to be discovered, unfortunately. And sooner or later, there's going to be a point where, I mean, who knows? Like, a lot of Zelda games are well documented. People, because they're very popular with people. They're a very good entry level game at this point. Not that I think like Zelda games are bad or too easy. Like I remember Skyward Sword was quite a challenge to get through for a bit, with the way you swing. But it wasn't like a bad kind of challenge. It was more of just, it was different. It was like, the way my brother put it, when he played Skyward Sword was, it was kind of like the Mighty Ducks 3, where, you learned all these tricks from your childhood, but they don't work anymore. Like, you're not facing like, the people on the same level as you. You're facing something new, something above you, and you have to adapt. You can't just use the same winning strategy that you used before. You have to learn something new. And to be perfectly honest, I do like Mighty Ducks 3 for changing things up. I mean, it's not as well remembered as the second one is, but I still think what the third one did was quite unique and quite very life lesson-y in a way. Because I mean, life is like that. Like you can't, you spend so much work learning how to do like multiplication, for example. Okay, well in middle school, you're gonna have to do algebra, and then geometry and all these other things. And that's kind of like how games should be, I feel. Just you have to adapt. You have to grow to learn. And it's crazy because I remember for like the longest time, like people would criticize like Wind Waker. Like, well, Wind Waker got criticized a lot for its art style, but it would also be criticized because it was like the same. Like, sure, it's a different art style, but you target the enemy, you volley, the ball back and forth. you know, it was a lot of the same beats, and you know, people criticize that. You know, New Super Mario Brothers, people criticize, you know, the game for being that, and uh, you know, just case in point, you can't really win. Nintendo can't really win because you have people that love the old stuff and want to keep playing it over and over again, and you have people that want to do something new, like me. I mean, that's not to say I want games to be radically different, but you know, I enjoyed Spirit Tracks. I've enjoyed Pikmin 3, Star Fox Zero, Super Mario Sunshine, like Splatoon. Like, there's so many games that do things differently, and I think it's important for games to keep doing that. So it's, I don't know. I feel like games should always keep evolving, keep making you play something new, because that's just how it's meant to be. I mean, movies don't do that. You like, uh, I mean, movies do to an extent. Like the Hollywood model of movies don't do that, but you know, art's never the same. Like, you know, art has so many different variations of like pointillism, the block shapes, the still life. There's so many like different ways of art. Like, it's crazy, and you know, like, to say one's better than the other. I mean, you might prefer one over the other, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. Like, art, and if video games are art, then they should be allowed to be freely examined. And on the subject of art, we have picked up the ice arrows now. Nothing at all to do with it. The ice arrows, unfortunately, in this game don't do too much. You get them so late, and I think soon, I don't think, soon after you do get the light arrows, and most of the time you will either use the fire arrow or the light arrow. But the ice arrow does look cool. Like, it has like a cool like swirl, like blue swirl around it. I'll try to use it in the next few parts, but as far as its effectiveness, I really don't think it does anything too substantial. But I'll look into it. So, whew, man, I would not have come up with that whole commentary while playing this game. I'll tell you that much. But hey, there's not a lot to the Gerudo Trading Ground that I already haven't said. So, anyways, I think my video self is gonna start talking, so I'll let him take the reins and catch you guys later. The next part, we're finally gonna move past. See, I can't even think. We're gonna move past. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.